I'm coming to you from a different scene today. We are in my bedroom, and I thought it was more appropriate because we're getting a little intimate. Polyamory or polyamore, meaning multiple or many love. How does polyamory and spirituality fit together? Hi soulmates, welcome back to another video. If you're new here, I'm Jules, your virtual law of attraction coach. Today's video may also be a bit on the controversial side, but as I have promised to do with this channel, living and embracing your full power means owning every part of you and your desires unapologetically, okay? Living exactly who you are out loud and boldly, all right? So that's what we're doing. And embarking on a spiritual journey sometimes means letting go of all the limiting beliefs you have adopted and live the path that is most in alignment with your soul, okay? So every now and then we may touch on some controversial belief systems, and I think polyamory might be one of those topics. Just a side note though, I will be referencing conscious polyamory here. Yes, polyamory can be practiced unconsciously, but I will not be touching on that in this video. But generally, polyamory is unconscious when it is used as an act of rebellion or as an escape or in a state of confusion. But I'm referencing poly being used or being practiced consciously and with a higher state of awareness, okay? So let's get into it. Polyamory is the practice of engaging in intimate relationships with multiple people at the same time, with all parties involved knowing and consenting to those relationships. This is opposite to monogamy, which is the practice of engaging in an intimate relationship with only one person at a time. The key word here is intimate, okay? See, there's this huge misconception about polyamory that polyamory is all about sex, but the fact is polyamory is not about sex at all. Intimacy is the foundation, is the core of polyamory, and not all relationships within a polyamorous arrangement are sexual. People also have this misconception that intimacy automatically means sex, but it doesn't. Intimacy is defined as a close, loving, and personal relationship between people or a group. Sex is only one expression of intimacy, but it is not a requisite for intimacy, okay? Now that we got that out of the way, there are many ways to have a polyamorous relationship with others. There is emotional polyamory, where someone may share deep emotional connections with multiple people, but not romantic or sexual connections with them. FYI, those of us that are deeply spiritual will naturally be emotionally polyamorous. There is romantic polyamory. This is where one becomes romantically involved with multiple partners, but not involved with them sexually. Romantic polyamory relationships will have the excitement and the adventure and the passion of being with someone, but they will not be involved in sexual activity. Usually, these people are sexually monogamous in this situation. Then there is sexual polyamory, which is, as it sounds actually, when one is involved with multiple partners purely for the sexual aspect with no emotional or romantic attachments. There can also be many different types of polyamorous arrangements, including the V arrangement. This is where one person is involved with two people, but the two people are not involved with each other. There's a triad or throuple, where three people are involved in the relationship and everyone is engaging with each other. There's quad, where there are four partners who are all involved with each other, and again, they're all coming together as one. This can also be two couples joining forces to be connected as one quad. Hierarchical poly is another type of poly arrangement where one relationship, usually referred to as the primary, is prioritized over the others. This is popular in married poly relationships, where the married couple prioritizes their relationships above all arrangements. Solo poly is another arrangement when one person is involved with multiple partners but doesn't have a primary partner and none of the partners are engaged with each other. Kitchen table poly. This is where a group of adults come together as a family offering support and sometimes raising children together. They share a home sometimes, contribute financially, and may or may not be sexually or romantically involved with the other members of the group. And there is monopoly arrangement. This is where one partner is poly, but the other identifies as a monogamous individual and has no interest in other partners, but consents to their partner engaging with other partners. All right, now there are other arrangements than the ones I have mentioned, but I cannot cover them all in this video. But the important thing to note here is that there is no right or wrong way, okay? There are many different types of relationships that humans can engage in, and they all should be accepted. Everyone is entitled to live out their desires as so aligned with their soul. And even though society has clung onto monogamy as the acceptable way to have a relationship, monogamy is not the right way for everyone. In fact, monogamy is not the natural state of our human experience. Yes, I will repeat, monogamy is not a natural state to our human experience, okay? And we prove this every day to ourselves over and over and over again. Lifelong monogamy is often plagued with infidelity and cheating. Only a very small percentage of mammals form lifelong monogamous bonds, and humans are not one of those mammals, okay? Monogamy is the expectation of society, yes, but like many other ways in which we have become superficial in the way we live, monogamy is in fact unnatural to us. Even though we think it's so damn sweet and romantic to have all the attention, all the devotion, all the love of one person's attention all on us, I gotta break it to you. The origin of monogamy was anything but romantic and sweet, okay? It was simply a byproduct of social conditions. I'm not gonna go into the entire history of how it began, but in a nutshell, women became monogamous over the course of history because it guaranteed shelter and protection for their children. Men adopted the concept of monogamy to protect their offsprings as well from being killed by other men who were looking to mate with the mothers of their children. Doesn't that sound like the most romantic thing ever? Oh my God, that is so romantic. I joke, but this is really how it happened. Here's the thing though, species that are truly monogamous, mammals that are actually naturally monogamous, they definitely do not play this cost versus benefit game when mating for life because, well, it's just natural to them. But we as humans play this cost versus benefit game when deciding about infidelity. As humans continue to evolve, so did the cost of infidelity. We acquired more stuff and therefore there was way more to lose. Note, however, that this also meant that as we evolved, we also became more and more disconnected from our souls, from our higher selves. We went deeper and deeper into this unconscious sleep. We attached ourselves, our value, our self-worth to all the things outside of us. And these are the things that we are in fear of losing if we lived out our true desires, our true nature, okay? So as a society, we decided that we needed to be monogamous because, well, the cost was just too darn high otherwise. So essentially, monogamy is a program. Just like all the other programs that have been downloaded into your subconscious, you are programmed to believe that our love and devotion and attention should be dedicated to one person for the rest of your life. And the goal is to find that one person and give it all to, right? And they will give the same to you in return, right? The problem with this is that this belief does keep us thinking that we need someone else to complete us. The more people become connected to their spiritual selves, to their souls, to their higher selves, the more we begin to see that the relationships we engage in during our human experience are actually meant to help us grow and evolve. The relationships themselves aren't our goals. They aren't our purpose here. Our goal here isn't to find a mate and try to be faithful together forever. The goal is to allow your relationships to open you up, to help you heal and ascend to your higher self. So rather than looking at relationships or even marriage as the end-all be-all of your life or just to having love period, our focus should really be on seeing how relationships are helping us become more of who we are meant to be. Furthermore, we do come to understand that love itself is a vibrational frequency and not a person. It stops making sense to you once you ascend to a higher consciousness that you are supposed to bottle up all your love and only share it with one person. Because since love is a vibration, it cannot be contained, it cannot be restricted. Once you're vibrating on this frequency of love, you will attract other spiritual beings also vibrating on the same frequency. This is why it's very common for spiritual people to be emotionally polyamorous or polyamorous in general, as I mentioned earlier. We see love as our natural state of being. Love is all-inclusive. Love has no rules. Love is a state of being that we achieve for ourselves, not an act by someone else towards us. And we share love with all, not just with one person, and in whatever way feels good and feels aligned with our highest selves. Polyamorous people typically experience more genuine, much deeper emotional intimacy with their partners. This is because they don't have the distorted belief that you have to maintain emotional and sexual exclusivity in order to have really deep and meaningful relationships. They have the freedom to love in a way that sits right with their own soul. They don't spend years and exert all this energy trying to suppress their natural instinct to form intimate bonds with other people, no matter what other relationships may already exist for them. This kind of intimacy that's experienced in polyamorous bonds is mystical. You feel more connected to the world. You come into that feeling of true oneness. Polyamorous people also tend to have more support in all aspects than monogamous relationships do. Since there are more people involved, there's always more love to go around, and therefore there will be more support as well. Whether it's financial support, household help, or even support for raising kids if there are any. Polyamorous relationships also allow you the opportunity to face your shadows about relationships and about yourself. Some people may not be too thrilled about this in the beginning, but when you're on a spiritual journey to enlightenment, I feel like seeking out ways to evolve and work through shadows is kind of addicting. Well, it is, at least for me. It might be just me, but I find it addicting. Being able to separate your sense of worth from other people is always a working progress, and sometimes you'll feel like, yes, you reached this sweet spot, right? But then, bam, another shadow shows up, right? But engaging in polyamorous relationships brings you face to face with all your deepest shadows, including one of the biggest ones, which is jealousy. Jealousy is not always fun to work through. It wasn't fun for me, but it's definitely the most satisfying, I have to say. You will also have to face shadows about codependency and control, because the more people you are involved with, the harder you'll find it to control anything that's outside of you. Another thing to know is that it's very, very hard for the ego to thrive in any individual who is involved in polyamorous bonds, okay? Polyamorous relationships also provide you more people to meet your various needs, okay? Now, if you are a conscious person with self-awareness and self-love, you will not need anyone outside of you to fill you up. This is not the kind of need we're talking about. However, as a human being, part of our existence is the need to connect with other humans. So yes, there are external desires and external needs that will need to be fulfilled, that will need to be met, like connecting with people with similar interests and goals, and just having that, human to human connection. It is impossible for one person to fulfill all of our external needs all the time. In a monogamous relationship, partners are typically expected to fulfill each other's needs all the time. It's impossible. People grow and people change all the time, as they're supposed to, and their needs also grow and change with them. And when one person isn't meeting the other one's needs, that causes problems, it causes friction. This often leads to cheating and infidelity and breakups. We cannot deny our needs. They have to be met somehow. Most often, a lot of people suppress these needs in monogamous partnerships, but they end up manifesting in very unpleasant ways, and usually at the detriment of the other partner. In polyamorous relationships, however, you're able to satisfy all your external needs. You may have a partner that's into tennis like you, but the other partners aren't. Another partner may stimulate your spirituality, your spiritual growth, when the others have no interest in that stuff. And you may have another partner who stimulates you when it comes to the business aspect of things in your life, and your other partners will have no interest in that either. So here you are meeting all of your varied needs without burdening one person to do so, because that oftentimes means that you are asking that person to step outside of their alignment to meet your needs. Now, there's nothing wrong or right about both monogamous and polyamorous polyamorous relationships, okay? You really just have to see what aligns with you on a soul level. And that is the point of this video. This video is not to shame monogamy or to glorify polyamory as the way to be. However, with monogamous relationships being the only relationships that are accepted by society today, I wanted to shed some light on why some people, especially those considered more conscious than the masses, are aligned with polyamory. Even though monogamy isn't our true nature, this universe is all inclusive and we are free to live however we choose. Whether one is wrong or right really depends on you as an individual on your soul level at that point of time that you are questioning. Most importantly, whichever style of relationship you choose to experience, make sure that you're keeping yourself open for it to change at another point in time in your life, because you must understand that this human experience is not about coming to follow the rules of society. It is about following the current of your own soul. All right, so yeah, this is my share today on polyamory. I really hope this video is helpful to anyone out there who's on a spiritual journey and finding themselves experiencing a shift in your belief, especially about relationship structures. I also hope that it at least opened up some minds out there a little bit, and if it did, please give this video a thumbs up. Also, please share with anyone who you think will resonate with this information, and if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe for more videos to enlighten you and keep you in high vibe. Also, don't forget to hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of my uploads, because this year I am dedicated to making videos to inspire all of you to live in all of your power and create the life of limitless abundance that you so deserve, okay? Thank you so much for sharing your energy with me in another video, and I can't wait to see you in my next one. Cheers!